It's worth saying, and I would ask the Minister to agree on the floor of the House this evening, that climate change is still the greatest strategic threat to mankind, even in this era of COVID-19. I hope the Minister agrees that adapting to and trying to mitigate climate change will require massive state investment in changing the way we live our lives and run our societies. It is vital we make sure that the post-COVID stimulus package required are not wasted on reinstating the status quo. It is vital that we kill two birds with the one stone and invest in green industry, and that we put workers and our communities at the heart of that just transition. In that context, I would like to welcome and recommend the paper Approaches to Transition, recently presented to the NESE by Gian Moore, which provides context for the choices we need to make. I believe we need to put workers and their trade unions at the centre of the policies, strategies and approaches outlined in that report. The immediate effects on our communities is apparent from the interim report from the Just Transition Commissioner, Kieran Mulvey. And while we welcome this report and we thank Mr Mulvey for it, I'd like to ask the Minister if he really believes that we are doing everything we can. Is the Minister satisfied with the pace and scale of action? We need to ensure that workers in Shannonbridge, Lanesborough, as well as Littleton in North Tipperary, the workers in East Galway and seasonal workers across the region who have relied on Bord na Móna for income are not abandoned. We need to look after those who have already lost their jobs, as well as those who are about to. The greatest challenge for us all is ensuring that new jobs available in places where the older jobs are being lost, and that the gap between the old jobs vanishing and the new jobs appearing doesn't destroy people's ability to sustain themselves and results in the economic destruction of our communities. Now, running quickly through some of the measures the Minister outlined in the Government's response to the report, I want to ask, does it really give a sense that we are acting fast enough? On the Just Transition Fund, 11 million seems a meagre enough investment in training and business supports. Is it enough? I quote directly, the Department will write to state agencies and enterprises to identify land and facilities. I get no sense of urgency from this Minister. How long will the Department wait for a response? Another direct quote, the Department and ESB will commission a study to examine the potential for using the existing infrastructure in the West Offaly and Lochbuie power plants as an energy hub in the Midlands. Does this really convey any urgency? Is this information not quickly available in both the ESB and Bord na Móna already? Digital hubs and remote working, obviously a worthy objective, as most people or many people are experiencing right now, but will it really address the needs of those directly affected? More electric charging points, absolutely needed, but more detail needed as well. Midlands retrofitting scheme, 20 million, a great project, but what is the scale? Centre for Climate Change and Just Transition, an excellent project, again, if it scales. Now, on the Green New Deal, the EU Green New Deal, Minister, do you have any idea if and when we will get detail on specific support for the Midlands? The overall impression to me is of a holding pattern. I think we need to grasp the nettle that there will be a large number of people who will be left behind if we don't act faster, invest more and look at more radical solutions to immediate problems. In view of the success of the COVID-19 pandemic wages support scheme and pandemic payment schemes, has the Minister considered proposing targeted, long-lasting direct supports modelled on pandemic measures for affected workers to bridge the gap between job losses and new industry creation? Because just like with COVID, these jobs are being threatened through no fault of the workers by a strategic external threat of a global magnitude. And lastly, I would like to strongly welcome the recent move from Coillte that as forests in Dublin are changing to non-commercial recreational use, and hope that a more balanced strategy of development for Coillte can be extended across the country as part of our climate emergency.